Trend Trader here. Today I want us to look at 3 stocks that I've added into my EasyEquities South African Rand portfolio. The reason for buying these 3 stocks is because of their strong technicals. All these 3 stocks are in a strong uptrend, and that's the reason for me for buying these stocks. Remember that I use systematic trend following, so we don't have all the stories that usually come with fundamental analysis or value investing. So the 3 stocks that we'll be looking at is transactional capital, and then we'll be also be looking at total Foschini Group, and also I'll be adding a super group into my South African Rand EasyEquities account. There is a link there in the description. If you don't have an EasyEquities account, you can click on that link and open your own EasyEquities account. But also, if you want to trade the US stocks, we also have a link to eToro. You can open a US account for trading US stocks. You can still trade US stocks using EasyEquities, but some of the stocks that are not available on EasyEquities, you can find them on eToro. So at least you'll have 2 places to make your trading. So let's go into the stocks. Okay, the first stock that we'll be looking at is Transaction Capital. As you can see, Transaction Capital was on an uptrend before the emergence of coronavirus disease in South Africa, of which we saw the JSE losing some strength there. Almost all the stocks, they started to fall. And then what we saw is that Transaction Capital found support somewhere around March 2020, and it has been on an uptrend, as it can be seen with the series of higher lows and higher highs. We have mentioned before that a series of higher highs and higher lows are characteristics of an uptrend. So now we covered this stock last year when it started to trade above the 200-day moving average. And then we mentioned that I think the 200-day moving average was near this level. So we mentioned that because of this previous high here, we expect that if the stock continue to trade up, then it will have a bit of a resistance near that previous high, of which that is what we have observed. And as you can see, as the stock move upward, it keeps on consolidating, forming a couple of bases, then breaking above those consolidation level. And now what we saw last week is that the stock was on this consolidation, and then there was a contraction at this consolidation as it approached the resistance level, and then it attempted to break above, and then it came back to retest a bit. From this retest, that is where we took our long position, and we were able to set a stop level just a multiple ATR below this level. And as you can see, the stock then started to trade all the way up. So for everyone who missed that entry near that area of value, now the stock is currently trading near 30 Rand per share. If you were to buy at this level and to have a stop level just below the previous resistance level, that will give you a very high risk area. So it's better to buy near an area of value. So now what you can do is to wait for the stock to maybe consolidate a bit here, so that it forms another base that will give you, that will quickly show you the support level and the resistance level, so that when the stock breaks above that level, you can then have an entry point with a favorable risk to reward ratio. So that is how we would add into our current position that we already have. So yeah, that's the stock. That is how we want to play the stock. And then the other strong stock that we spoke of is TFG. So we mentioned that TFG, it had the same experience as Transaction Capital. It also fell last year with that flash market crash, and then started to trade above this consolidating level. So as you can see, the stock broke above and then came back to retest this level. It's not necessarily that whenever a stock break out, it will come back to retest a specific level. It can happen that it will just break above and then consolidate there at the top, and then with that consolidation then break two prices above this level, which is what we say that with transaction capital it's better to wait for this top consolidation in case it's coming. But in this case, so we mentioned that it broke above this level and then retested it, and then it continued to trade high. Now you see we have plotted this resistance level from these previous swing highs, and then now the stock currently it found a bit of a resistance there. So there are two ways that the stock can go. It can retrace back to this support level. So if it retraces here, we expect that it will show lower price rejection, and then it will continue to trade higher. So if it shows a lower price rejection, then you can buy that candle at the close, and then have your stop level somewhere here. So what you'll be doing there, you'll just be trading a small swing to the way up to about 125 rand per share. So that is scenario number one, if it fails to break above this level. The second scenario that we would like to see, since you already have a long position in the stock, we want to see the stock consolidate along this level, and then forming another small resistance, support and resistance level, and then breaking to higher prices. So if it does that, then it will give us another opportunity to add into our existing position and have a stop level just a multiple ATR below that level. So if it does that, we will be targeting the first short-term target will be somewhere near 150. As you can see here, there is a bit of resistance there, and then the full target will be somewhere around 120. Let me see if I can move this chart a bit. So the next level will be around 170, not 120. So the short-term target is going to be 150, and then the full target will be 170. So those trade areas will give you a reasonable risk to reward ratio. Then finally, the stock that we also interested on that we've added into our position is Super Group. We've been bullish on this stock for quite some time now. As you can see here, when it bottomed somewhere in March, it has been on a nice uptrend all the way coming to this resistance level here. And then there have been numerous attempts to break above this resistance level. As you can see, every time this stock came closer to this resistance, that trading range became smaller and smaller. This thing is also known as VCP. It's volatility contraction pattern. This pattern is known as a bullish signal. The more you trade using charts, the more you get to know these kinds of patterns, and then whenever you see them, then you can expect some kind of move to a certain direction. And then so what we saw is that eventually Super Group broke above the 26 rand per share resistance level. As you can see, it broke up and then it consolidated a bit, coming back to retest the breakout level, and then it continued to trade. It's currently trading around 29 rand per share, so we are already in position here. So if you go back in time, you can see here there is a bit of this level that was once a resistance level. So now we already have a position here, but we want to see if the stock will trade above 30 rand per share, of which if it trades above 30 rand per share, then we will have a buy stop order here, so that if the stock break above this level, then we get in. So if that happens, the stock can just go straight and trade all the way higher. Otherwise, another scenario is that it will break above, come back to retest this level, and maybe have a bit of a consolidation before it continues above. But as it is at this moment, we are still bullish on this. Whichever scenario is going to play, we already have a position. We're just looking for another area of value where we can add onto our existing position. And our short-term target to this, it's this level here, which is almost closer to 38 rand per share. So yeah, these are the three stocks that we are looking. Okay, we've already added them into our portfolio, but now we are looking for areas of value where we can add onto our uh, existing positions. We always like to buy stocks near an area of value because there we can have a favorable risk to reward ratio. Ideally, we want to take trades where we have at least a risk to reward of 1:3, but preferably we want a risk to reward of 1:5 because there we can only be correct 20% of the time and make money rather than taking trades that have a risk to reward of 1:1. So there we have about maybe 50% chance of making money. So yeah, that's it. These are the three stocks that we wanted to cover this week. TFG and Transaction Capital, and then now Super Group. We hope that this will help you to make your own trading and investing decisions. Don't forget to check the description because there we've got a couple of things. There we have a systematic trend following cheat sheet link there. That cheat sheet will help you to understand systematic trend following. We also have a link to registering on eToro if you want to trade US stocks. And then we have different materials. The description link will keep on changing from time to time depending on what we want to cover on that week. So thank you. I hope that this is going to help you.